Hey everyone, Sari here, and welcome back to another week of late season offense matches. Yuri's bonus week gave me a great chance to experiment with some strategies I haven't used too often, namely hit and run or Canto approaches that take full advantage of the safety fence. Yuri himself is a large part of what enables this squad. Giving him Disarm Trap lets him attack any target without worrying about losing an action, giving him a way to pick off key targets before they have a chance to react. I decided to use Glimmer instead of Moonbow here, since it gives him a lot more firepower against low to middling defense targets with mythic boosted health pools. Combining it with his default Times Pulse gives him an easy time one-shotting his first target every turn. His weapon and personal skill are what really help him stand out from the competition. Being an infantry unit with effectively cavalry movement range makes him extremely flexible with his approaches, and having a 2-range Canto effect on top of that gives him an easy exit plan, or a way to maneuver into position after using foul play. A 3-range swap gives him a way to catapult a lower movement carry into the enemy team, while disarming any traps they'd land on, or simply allow him to rescue an ally before retreating to safety himself. Eirika, meanwhile, is a player phase monster. While not quite as extreme as she was during her bonus week, she still packs more than enough firepower to one-round almost anything she attacks. Surge Sparrow lets her sustain herself through multiple combats, while the combination of her weapon and personal skill let her break through guard or wary effects to guarantee follow-up attacks and special activations. I prefer using Draconic Aura to Luna. It gives her a way to do damage based on her own stats instead of relying on her opponents, letting her be much more consistent when breaking through some higher health targets. Pulse Smoke is a fun addition to her kit as well, giving her a way to disarm any precharged specials if the team needs to end up tanking a hit in the enemy phase. The Mythics are here as support, bringing a combination of dances, visible buffs, sabotages, isolation, healing, and extra movement options to the table. I'm hoping to find a sabotage defense for Milla at some point. It would really help boost teams like this one. Eirika's team took half of the matches this week, and the rest of them went to Dimitri. Outside of Dimitri himself, the teams remain the same. Yuri continues to be an excellent sniper and trap defuser, while the Mythics help to support. Dimitri offers an extremely powerful enemy phase alternative to Eirika though, combining his weapon's dodge effect and a consistent 20 or more true damage from Atrocity to decimate any attackers. Panic Smoke is a very important part of his kit in light seasons, rounding out the spectrum of smoke skills that Atrocity gives him with a way to neutralize any notes he runs into, along with any other visible buffs the enemy team might use. Now that we've gone over the teams, let's get to the first match. This match is going to be a fun way to start off the week. Their defense is almost boxed in with a pretty small choke point to work through, but Note actually helps them cover a lot of the map thanks to the Reinhardt standing behind her, and the Eliwood and Veronica a step below that. This Eliwood is very impressive too, it's nearly maxed out. And of course Reinhardt with his Quickened Pulse, Lance Breaker, Death Blow 4. Very intimidating for infantry lance units like Dimitri. Any lance unit, really. As is this +9 ins. I think they're just waiting for enough codes to max him out with the free manual, which I don't think we quite have access to at this point. They should get him soon. And then rounding the team out with Triandra to dance and Sothis. This match is going to be the first time I've really used Yuri too much, and it should be very interesting, since I'm planning to take advantage of his Canto and the safety fence to enable some nonsense on this first turn. The first thing we're going to do is just flip Yuri forward.
This'll be fun.
And have him go after Note. Thanks to the precharged special and Disarm Trap, he can actually safely initiate onto Note.
Step aside.
And take her down in one hit. Before retreating back to a nearly safe position.
I won't disappoint.
And then out of range thanks to Peony.
Right, boss.
Docker's going to move in behind Dimitri to enable some buffs for the next turn,
Death's caress.
while Air and Milla
Like this.
are going on a sneaky mission to pick up this Bright Shrine before the next turn, so we don't have to worry about it hitting Dimitri. This turn we're going to start by moving Milla up here to break this Bright Shrine, which is important since we do want to make sure that she continues soaking this Dark Shrine for the next turn.
Where to, friend?
Yuri's going to snipe another target and disarm the second trap.
Step aside.
Before Cantoing down here to give Peony an aerobatics so that she can reach Dimitri,
Ready.
dance him forward,
Yes.
and let him take down Reinhardt. I was thinking about taking Inns down instead, but it doesn't really matter too much which one we leave alive. And then after that, I'll just move Air over and say go. Veronica's going to start things off since she's the only one who can attack without dying. And Inn's rally just means that he never actually gets to attack this turn since Triandra can do damage. Minor damage. Before Dimitri heals most of it right back. From here, most of the threats are handled, and we just want to make sure we pick these ether pots before we close out the match. It's gonna take us a couple of turns to do that, though. So we'll just give Yuri a little more time in the spotlight, and let him one-shot the Sins.
Kneel.
Which lets him Canto over here and help block Veronica in place.
Good morning.
Peony is just going to move right up here and finish blocking Veronica in the corner.
I'll comply.
And then Dimitri can knock out Sophus. That
I
lets
bestow
Milla
my blessing.
move up and take our first ether fountain.
The glimmer of life.
We'll just let Air move forward
If you
and
say
get ready
so.
to pick the second one up next turn.
Death's
And then once
caress.
she does, we'll let
Where
Yuri
to,
move
friend?
over to close out the match.
You've had your fun.
He's really very effective at picking off key targets. Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be another interesting one. It's part of why I find this one fun is just because this catapult actually ends up being the most annoying part of their defense. Which is strange to say in a team that's fielding a legendary Seaguard in season with a precharged Holy Knight aura, and a brave Eirika to complement him and just be a general tank buster. Along with a legendary Chrom, who's also in season. He's very speed focused with the push and solo and lull, and that can definitely catch some slower tanks off guard. They also have a Sonya with a precharged Glacies. Very impressive there. Along with this plus 10 Nino. Or, not Nino, I'm sorry, Noe. Who helps enable Sonya's Glacies and also gives a little bit of an edge to Chrom, Note, and Brahminans, speeding up their specials. Bonus week Brahminans are also definitely something to take seriously. He's not... It's very hard in this bonus week. Even though we are going to end up losing our safety fence on this first turn, though, I am still going to go ahead and start this on the first turn. Since this is going to be the easiest turn we have
Where to, friend?
start by breaking Note.
You've had your fun.
For Cantoing back and testing Trap. It's the real one.
Maybe
That means we can
this
start
way.
testing the traps on the crafty traps instead.
I won't
Then-
disappoint.
We're going to have Yuri move over and test one of these traps while playing Air to get him out of harm's way. Air can then
The
move back
glimmer of life.
now that we've gotten the real trap and break the Stark Shrine.
Got
We're
'em.
going to smite Eirika forward and
Leave
let
it to
her
me.
cruise in and one-shot Sigurd. He doesn't get any damage reduction if we attack him with a melee unit, and Eirika can then move back and bait out Chrom. She'll be safe here, they don't have any dancers, so she'll take a hit from Chrom and it'll do some damage,
It
but
will
it
be
shouldn't
done.
put her in any real danger. Nope. He hits once, but it gets blunted by her damage reduction, and really all he ends up doing is fully charging your Chroniclara for the next turn. We do still need to handle some of these threads. Sonia and Chrom and Eirika specifically are the ones we'd like to take care of this turn, and I think
My
I figured
orders?
out a way to do this. We'll start by having Eirika bring down Sonia.
My strength is my conviction.
And Canto lets her move over here,
Where to, friend?
while Yuri can move into the space she was in and get just enough attack to one-shot Chrom.
Kneel.
And then he can Canto down here.
Good morning.
Kini will dance him from below, which lets her buff Milla with an orders.
I won't disappoint.
Yuri can move over and take down Eirika.
Kneel.
And since we already found the real bolt trap,
I
Milla
bestow
can
my
warp
blessing.
forward and flip Eirika down,
Yes.
while Air moves up and takes our first pot.
Right,
Then we'll
boss.
just move Dogger forward a little bit and say go. And now that we've taken care of almost all of their team, we just want to pick up this last pot before we close out the match.
My orders?
And, well, a little bit of creative maneuvering should let us do that without too many problems. We'll start with Eirika bringing down Bramond, and Pathfinder lets her Canto right back to where she started.
Like
And
this.
Milla can flip Yuri,
If you say
and
so.
we'll just move Dogger forward past him,
This'll be fun.
and that gives him enough movement to reach the pot. Before we dance
Ready.
Eirika,
Leave
and
it
let
to
her
me.
close out the match.
Keep your eyes on me.
That was a really fun match to plan out. Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be another fun one that we end up getting to take advantage of this safety fence for once. We've got a pretty nifty little setup here with a turn 1 trap involving Dorothea or Eldigan dancing Byleth as the 7th unit trap, and backing this up with a Bramond in his bonus week, and a Pent. There is a bit of a problem with their setup though, since they only have 1 infantry pulse on their team, and that means that even with Pent's times pulse weapon, Bramond doesn't get a fully charged special, and neither does Pent himself. It makes me think that they might have goofed a little on setting this up from a 2 infantry pulse team, since the second pulse would give them both pre-charged specials and make this a lot more threatening overall. I don't think I'm going to have too many problems with this. It should be pretty straightforward. We're going to start by
Where to,
having Yuri
friend?
move in and one-shot Bramond.
You've had your fun.
And then he can Canto back,
Ready.
get danced, and go after
Won't
Byleth.
disappoint.
Byleth is going to get to counterattack Yuri here. But Yuri's got enough bulk to survive it.
For a new tomorrow. Kneel.
And down he goes. We can't Canto back out of the threat range with Yuri this turn,
Leave it to me.
but Eirika can do that for us,
Right,
which
boss?
lets Dogger move up
It will be
and
done.
get Eirika some buffs for next turn. Mela can move up behind her,
Glimmer of light.
and Earl will just move over here. And since we're all out of their threat range, the safety fence activates, and nothing else happens. Yuri gets a bit of a top-off from Air for this
This'll be
turn,
fun.
which is very helpful, letting him move in and one-shot Note.
Step aside.
Before cantoing forward to trap Dorothea for next turn.
Got him.
We're also going to smite Eirika over here, which is going to let her move up and one-shot the other Note. Before cantoing back towards
Good
Peony,
morning.
who dances her, and lets her finish off Pent.
I will be your lance.
And, well, with only the dancers left, there's not really much that can threaten us anymore. Eldigan's going to go after Yuri, but Yuri's got enough bulk to survive a turn of that, and Dorothea can't go anywhere.
I bestow my blessing.
So we'll just have Mila move
Yes.
up, and Air move up. We should be able to finish this off next turn. Yep. Then we
Leave
can
it
just
to me.
have Eirika break through Eldigan.
I cannot fall.
That special does a lot of damage. And then
Death's
Air can
caress.
pick up the first pot.
I won't
Yuri can pick up
disappoint.
the second one. And we'll let
Maybe
Eirika
this
move in
way.
My orders?
and close out the match. That was a fun one. Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be an interesting one, just because of how long I spent trying to make a fancy offense work. It took a while just because I didn't really want to try tanking this, since it's hard to actually tank it without killing everything at once. And, well, that makes picking the pots up a tricky thing to do. It's a very nasty little defense to try and pick apart. I think the layout is inspired by a certain famous YouTuber. But the units are different, and it makes it very difficult to actually reach the ether pots while avoiding losing any units. And I do appreciate that. It's annoying to deal with, but yeah, it's not a bad thing for a defense to do. There's a lot of threatening parts of this, and, well, the turn 1 trap with Sigurd seems a little off, since if Sigurd dances and then Note rallies him, and then Triandra dances again, there's no follow-up beyond that if Note can't reach anything. But I'm just going to count on the safety fence here,
Death's caress.
and then we'll get a little bit degenerate with Dimitri after that.
Where to, friend?
Okay. One trap tested.
Maybe this way. Got him.
Here, we're just going to have Dogger break one of these,
orders.
Dimitri break another one,
Like
Mila
this.
break a third one, and
This'll
let
be
Yuri
fun.
back out. And safety fence locks out their first turn, which is important. Isolating Seeker is important too, since I don't trust him to actually do damage to Dimitri, while Triandra on the other hand should always be able to do damage to him, so I shouldn't have to worry about Triandra dancing
Right, boss.
when we smite Dimitri forward, and very deliberately
comply.
don't attack, and just plonk him on this defense tile. From
It will
there,
be
we're
done.
going to move Milla here to make sure that he gets those
Good
buffs,
morning.
and move Peony out of the way of Reinhardt.
Where to,
We'll
friend?
just have Yuri move up a space,
If
and
you
Dagger
say
move
so.
behind him, and say go. I think Triandra is actually going to be the first one to attack Dimitri here. Oh no. It's Leaf,
Strike now!
because we don't double him.
We will not lose.
Oh, that's bad. Oh, nope, it's not. Forgot that we made sure of Triandra being able to attack.
On my honor.
So, even with the 1 hit point remaining on Leaf, I actually really thought we were going to double him. It's not going to matter. I must have missed something there. I don't think he gets an impact. I'll have to double check again. But from here we just continue on down the chain, and Dimitri casually heals himself back to full health before the end of it.
We will not lose. Don't let them retreat.
Even Reinhardt, while he can do some damage, it's not really going to stick.
We will not lose.
I'm actually still not entirely sure why we didn't double Leaf. I thought we should have had 6 more speed than him, but I must have missed something.
Yes.
Regardless, it
I won't
doesn't
disappoint.
really matter from here, since we were careful to stay out of the Wings of Mercy range of Bramland. And, well, when it's only Note to deal with,
This way.
we can kite around her pretty
This'll be
easily,
fun.
while we get ready to pick up the pots next turn.
Like this.
I'll comply.
And close out the match. Sadly, Note was feeling pretty rude here and actually stops us from reaching this pot this turn. But we've still got plenty of turns to spare,
This'll be fun.
so I'll just move Yuri over a couple of spaces, let her
Yes.
pick this pot up,
Yes.
and then
Good morning.
we'll just dance out of range of the
I
menace
won't disappoint.
to make it easy to
If you
finish her
say
off
so.
next turn,
It will be done.
and say go one more time.
Where to, friend?
Then from here, we should just be able to dance Yuri forward to pick up the pot,
This'll be fun.
Your orders.
and then have Dimitri close out the match. That match ended up being a lot more brute force than I expected, and was a little unexpected with Leaf surviving. This match is going to be an interesting one. I was expecting to see more Patria setups after the Double Special Heroes rerun, and, well, finding one immediately afterwards seems pretty appropriate. They're combining her with Mooseball, who I haven't actually seen on a defense yet, and I do think that his Domain of Flame skill really helps improve just one-shot abilities, or punching power in the case of Catrio as backup. And they do have a few rallies, and of course, legendary Quinthies and Crom, with his Change Fate, to try and help force forward with a triangle attack and find knockouts. This Yuri is honestly really impressive. It's a good formal for her, with joint drive attack and impact. And of course this note. She's actually got quite a bit more defense than the average note thanks to steady posture and mooseful. And Eldgan with ground orders, and the Defrez ARD skill, and a Triandra to round things out. I'm going to have to think my way through this a little bit, since I don't think I'm going to be able to just end all of this in 1 or 2 turns. I am going to take advantage of our safety fence though. Even though they do have a catapult in this lane, it's not hard to snipe it and keep it safe.
Your orders.
Which lets us have Dimitri open up the wall,
Maybe this way.
and we'll dance him,
Got him.
smite Yuri forward,
Where
and
to,
have him
friend?
move up to knock out Note.
Neo.
And without Note helping their movement range, Yuri can actually just Canto right back down here, and stay out of range and keep
I'll
our safety
comply.
fence active. And Dimitri can just move over,
I bestow my
and we'll have
blessing.
Noah isolate Crom and Curia for the next turn. From here, we're actually going to
If you say
get a little
so.
creative with this, and we're going to send Yuri in
Where to, friend?
to snipe Katria and take her off the field. While this does mean they
Better
actually
accept it.
get to keep both dancers for the next turn, we should still be okay.
I'll
We're going to
comply.
have Dimitri reposition Yuri down,
The glimmer of
and we'll
life.
flip Note down,
Good morning.
have Peony dance Yuri, and get
I
him out of
won't
harm's way.
disappoint.
And Mila can just stay where she is, since she is actually buffing Dimitri from here. And then we'll say go. Since we've isolated Crom and Curia, the first thing that happens is Mispel attacks in. While he does actually get his special skill
We
to
will
activate,
not lose.
and a full 40% damage reduction. Maybe not full. It's still not too hard for Dimitri to bring him down. From here, we've almost made it out of the danger zone. We just need to make sure that we clean up the remaining threats, while also making sure we reach these ether pots before everything dies.
Yes.
And I think I've figured out a way to do this with some elaborate foul
It will
play
be done.
shenanigans.
This will be fun.
By clearing this out and flipping Yuri over here, we can have him move up here and foul play Dimitri to the spot in front of Crom, before cantoing down, and then we'll
Maybe
just dance
this
him.
way.
And
If you say so.
I was kind of hoping to be able to get Yuri over, or Yuri to foul play Peony, but sadly we don't quite have enough wiggle room to make that work here. So instead,
won't
we'll just move him
disappoint.
out of the way,
Got him.
let Dogger move up as
I'll
well,
comply.
and have Dimitri one-shot Crom.
Don't let them retreat.
We don't get to heal from this, but that's okay. He'll be able to heal plenty from Curia and Triandra, even when they attack him. Nope. Triandra can do an intimidating amount of damage before the damage reduction gets applied,
On my honor.
but we heal most of it back. And while Curia is quite spooky, we one-shot her too.
On my honor.
Which strengthens their team with the Lonely Eldigan. And now that we really don't have
The
much left
glimmer
to
of
worry about,
life.
we're just going to flip Yuri forward, which lets us test
Where
2
to,
more
friend?
traps. Having 2 disarm traps in one team is
Right,
a little
boss?
excessive, but it's fun to play with.
Good morning.
Yes.
And then once we have everybody out of
I
harm's way,
bestow my blessing.
we'll just wait another turn to pick up the pot and close out the match.
This'll be
Yuri
fun.
can start by picking up the ether pot.
It will be done.
We'll just have Air and
Death's caress.
Milla clean up some more of this
Yes.
If you say so.
before we let Dimitri move in
Ready.
Your orders.
and take down Aldegan to close out the match.
We will not lose.
It was a fun one. Hell play enables some really silly strategies when you consider it. Sometimes it can take a bit. But let's see what we get next. This match is going to be a bit of a quieter one. It's been a while since I've seen a 6-unit defense. Don't think I've seen one this week. And, well, it's mostly, or a chunk of it is in-season mythics, with a bonus week Fjorm headlining their team, along with 2 armored dragons holding the front line, and a bonus week Brahmin lurking in the back, with the Triandra as a dancer. I don't think this is a terrible setup. It has a bit longer of a threat range than people might expect thanks to the boots on Sothis, and it can catch people off guard if they aren't paying attention. Along with, well, plus attack bonus week Brahmin being a menace. I don't think I'm going to have too many problems with this, assuming I've done my math correctly.
Yes.
We should be able to
Like this.
knock out a couple of their units right at the
Ready.
start of the match. We'll just have Peony dance Moa. And from
This'll be
here,
fun.
Yuri should have just enough buffs to one-shot Sothis.
Better accept it.
Before Cantoing back out of range.
Leave it to me.
And then Eirika can move in and massacre a Dune. Before moving back and getting
It will
pulled
be
out
done.
of their attack range by Milla.
If you say so.
Dagger will just move over and get ready to smite Eirika in the next turn. From
Right,
here, we're
boss?
going to take advantage of Dagger's
I
Pathfinder
won't disappoint.
to let Yuri move in and one-shot Triandra.
You've had your fun.
Then Canto on forward to block one space of Brahmin's tiles.
I bestow my blessing.
Then Milla can flip Eirika forward
My
and
orders?
let her run in and knock out Fjorm. She'll take a hit back, but then she gets to heal herself back to full health thanks
Cannot
to
fall.
Surge Sparrow. And we'll just let her wait in place, and enemy phase Ryoma.
Maybe
And
this
just to
way.
make sure of it, we'll have Peony move in, and dance Milla up,
Like this.
The glimmer of life.
and we'll just let Air move down and get out of range of this tactic room. We won't be able to heal this damage back, sadly, but
I cannot fall.
7 damage isn't really going to bother Eirika too much. And then from
Yes.
here, all we need to do is pick up the pots,
Where to, friend?
which is pretty easy to do, since they're right there waiting for us.
Good morning.
And then we'll let Peony move forward to dance Eirika
My orders?
and close out the match. Nice and clean. Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be a very satisfying rematch at the end of the week, assuming I've planned this out correctly. Partly because of what exactly they brought to my defense is a basically set of hard counters, and also just to punish a very obnoxious cav line fielding Winter Bernadetta, the Duo Leaf, 2 notes, a bonus week Bramband, with Wings of Mercy instead of Lol, and this Elise, who is actually a return trap that can either flip Bramband or Leaf forward. And that's really spooky, since, well, if she does, Eldigan can also catch up to her, although I think he usually gets caught up by dancing this note. We're not going to give this a chance to really work, though, and I should actually be able to get this done pretty cleanly by, well, relying on Dimitri to tank the world,
If you say so.
and also taking advantage of this
Yes.
safety fence
I won't disappoint.
to stop their first turn from happening. Wait, I actually ended up really miscalculating and ended up needing to completely rethink my strategy for this match, since I somehow forgot that we weren't sniping Note with this approach, which means this tile is still threatened by Elise, and we can't just have Yuri use it to hide in this turn. And, well, rethinking your approach after you've already started a match like this can be a little tricky.
This will be fun.
I think, though, that I've figured out a way to make this work. We're going to start by having Yuri check this trap, and it's real, and break that tactic room, which will give Peony her full movement range for the following turn. We can have Dimitri pull Yuri back, air move down and out of the way, and Moa move out as well. We still get out of range of their team, or in range of the safety fence, and stop the turn one. From here, we're going to need to do some elaborate baiting to make this work. Yuri's going to open this Bright Shrine up, even though we are actually going to get Dimitri hit by a menace from one of the notes.
Your orders.
Breaking that is still important, since it means that Air can move over here and open this up, which puts her directly in the path of Elise for this coming turn.
Good morning.
And with her baiting Elise, we can have Peony
It will be
dance
done.
Yuri and get him back out of the way,
I won't disappoint.
and hope that we've planned this out correctly. The first thing that should happen is Eldigan dances, and then Elise should move forward since she has the most favorable combat, since she doesn't die. From there, Dimitri should start tanking his way through all of this. He's not quite going to finish Bernadetta off, since this setup doesn't give him enough speed to break through that lull. But since the dance is already used, it's not too big of a deal. And at this point, he shouldn't have any problems handling the rest of this.
On my honor.
Leaf doesn't heal him, so he attacks before Bramband. And Bramband, well, we do get to one-shot him, even in this bonus week.
We will not lose.
And down he goes. From here, it depends on where the notes move. Okay. One of the notes might have attacked Dimitri here, but he would have been okay even if they had. This turn actually ended up going really well, which is a relief, since I don't like having to change my plans after I start the match. Especially not on the first turn like that. And things are still a little tricky to navigate here, with most of our team unable to connect with what they want to get to. We do have a pretty unconventional option that I'm going to take, though. Actually, forgot about this Note's Obstruct. It's a sneaky skill in that most people don't look at it and remember to factor it into their movement. It means that I can't actually get Dogger through this area immediately,
Your
but that's
orders.
okay. We can still have Dimitri move over and one-shot her from either of these positions. Which very helpfully panics the second note,
Right, boss.
and then we'll just have Dogger move over behind him, which is going to
won't
let Yuri
disappoint.
move up here to knock out Elise,
Step aside.
Canto all the way past Note, or Dogger, rather,
Good morning.
which lets Peony aerobatics up past him,
Where
and
to,
lets him
friend?
move over to trap Bernadetta, and also stop Eldigan from being able to wing some Mercy over to her. And
I
from
bestow
here,
my blessing.
Dimitri should be able to just handle this Note without any issues. Panic Smoke is
On my
really
honor.
useful at shutting her down. And, well, Eldigan can't get anything done. From
Got
here,
him.
we should be able to just have Dimitri move over and
I'll comply.
not quite clean up Eldigan thanks to the debuffs, but he'll pick up this pot and enemy phase Eldigan instead,
This'll be fun.
while Yuri picks up this pot and continues to trap Bernadetta. And then we'll just wait. We should be able to finish this off next turn. We're actually still not going to quite finish this Eldigan off. It's very bulky, especially with that courtly candle. But it can only
Yes.
keep him alive for so long.
Don't let them retreat.
And with Eldigan down, Yuri
I
can
won't
move over
disappoint.
and finish off Bernadetta's last hit point.
Kneel.
That match got pretty tricky to navigate, but even with a bit of a noopsie at the start, we still managed. Let's see what we get next. This match is going to be a fun way to close the week out. They've got a pretty intimidating front line here, and it doesn't activate right away, but Niffle makes things very interesting when you're trying to break through a far-safe Hector. And this Dio Hinoka's, especially when she's being screened by the Hector, is a very threatening unit to try and handle with Windsweep. Especially when she's also got this Brave Alm with his Refine to back her up. And, of course, the bonus week Bramond, the Note, and a Dancer Eldigan to round things out. Oh, right. It's a very impressive team overall, which of course is just going to make it all the more satisfying when we can break it open. I'm actually going to get this started on the first turn, since I think we should be able to break open part of their front line
If you
and
say
still
so.
get back into range of taking advantage of our safety fence. I'm going to start by smiting Eirika forward,
The
and
glimmer
then
of light.
having our Disarm Trap air safely flip Yuri forward to disarm the other trap. From
My
here,
orders?
Eirika should be able to take down Hector. She'll tank a bonfire, but the damage reduction from Niffle doesn't apply to the
Pierce the sky, Maltet!
really threatening hit,
I cannot fall.
and she heals most of her health back, thanks to Swift Surge Sparrow. We'll have her Canto back here, and since Yuri has
to,
3
friend?
movement, he's going to be able to move up here and knock out Hinoka from this forest tile.
Kneel.
They'll take a counterattack, but
You've had your fun.
he's got enough health to survive that pretty easily. And then from there he can Canto back out of range,
Maybe
We'll dance
this
air.
way.
and get her out of range of Niffle.
Like
And then
this.
Lula can move over here and isolate on for next turn. And we're all out of range, so safety fence kicks in. From here, we've done a solid job of cracking open their front line, but this Niffle is actually
I won't
really
disappoint.
annoying to handle, mostly thanks to this Bright Shrine, which I think is just enough to stop Yuri from being able to double her. So we're going to
This'll be fun.
start by just moving him over here and not doing anything,
Good morning.
and then dancing him. And
Where
that
to, friend?
should be just enough to let him double her and finish her off. And since we didn't do anything on his first action,
You've had your fun.
that means we can have him Canto back down and get out of range of Alm for the next turn. I'm not worried about the dancing,
Leave it to me.
since Eirika is going to be able to take out Eldigan.
I cannot fall.
And then Canto down. She's not quite out of range yet, but we can just smite Air forward.
Yes.
And we'll have Air reposition Eirika down. This is actually a little riskier than I'd like, since if Note moves to the left here, that would let Bramond reach, or even down here, that would let Bramond reach Air, and, well, he'd flatten Air pretty easily. But she should always prioritize moving onto this defense tile instead.
I bestow
So
my blessing.
we'll see if I've figured the AI out correctly. Yep, excellent. At this point, reaching these ether pots, while unnecessary and tricky, is still something I'd like to do. And I think we've got a way to manage it here. We're going to end up surrounding Bramond, and it's going to take a few movement shenanigans to accomplish. We'll start by smiting Eirika forward and flipping her forward
My orders?
to let her reach Note from this top side. And, well, Note's not having a good time here.
Keep your eyes on me.
Eirika can then Canto over one space to trap Bramond from the top side,
I won't disappoint.
while Yuri moves in and takes down Alm.
Step aside.
I'm going to have him Canto here,
It will be
while
done.
Milla flips Peony forward.
Ready.
Peony can dance him here,
Where
and let
to,
him end
friend?
the turn by breaking our healing tower. Or a healing tower.
This'll
And
be
then from
fun.
here it's easy enough to pick up one pot, and Canto back,
Leave it to me.
pick up the second pot, and Canto back again.
Maybe
Then we'll let Peony
this
dance
way.
Eirika, and have her close out our week. That was a fun match to end the week on. This was a really fun week overall. I had a lot of fun with the Eirika and Yuri combo, and unfortunately they're probably not going to get many chances to play with each other again. But Double Canto enables some really crazy stuff, and it'll be interesting to see how I can work with Yuri in Astra seasons, since that's where I'm currently planning to keep him for the most part. It was nice to get Dimitri a chance to shine this week too, before I finish giving him the rest of his dragon flowers and give him an ascendant trait, which I should be doing shortly after this video. I do have a Discord channel, there's a link in the description if you'd like to hang out in the chat, and I've also got a Patreon page there if you'd like to help support the channel. As usual, I hope you've enjoyed the video, good luck with your own matches, and I'll see you next time.